Banjo-Kazooie. Alright, so I know in my first review I made a lot of jokes about shitty controls and shitty cameras, but I like this game entirely too much to find really anything to make fun of it for. This game's amazing. It's just like playing a real banjo.
I don't own a banjo.
There really aren't enough hours in the day for me to list all the things that make this game one of the best I've ever played in my life. Seriously, I love this game more than I love Chipotle, and holy shit do I love Chipotle. And this is one of the notorious N64 games that Rareware developed before things started to go down the shitter. Released in 1998, Banjo-Kazooie had originally started out as a game being developed for the Super Nintendo under the codename Project Dream. It was going to be a very different game, making use of ACM, like the Donkey Kong Country series had done. But with the release of the N64 on the horizon, and ACM becoming pretty much obsolete, Rare switched development over to the new console.
And the rest is a history.
Since its release, people have been known to call this game a clone of Mario 64, which to me doesn't really make any sense.
Jiggies and Power Stars are like the same thing.
This game has its own unique personality and charm, and is loaded with extremely imaginative stages and quirky characters. Literally everything in this game has personality and life, and although both games are great in their own right, I actually find Banjo-Kazooie to be a lot more immersive than Mario 64. When it really comes down to it, it's no more a Mario clone than Sonic the Hedgehog is. They share similar goals as far as objectives go, but as far as I can tell, they're two totally different games that happen to share the same genre. I feel that Mario 64 pioneered a game style that Banjo-Kazooie just so happened to perfect. It's beautiful. It's like a fucking work of art. Now the story begins with our antagonist, a mean old witch named Gruntilda who looks about 2 hot dogs shy of a heart attack and whose beauty is rivaled only by her angelic voice. Yeah, get used to that. Now, for whatever reason, she's apparently under the impression that she's one hot piece of ass. Well, shit goes bonkers when she realizes the actual holder of this title is Tootie, a young bear girl who, for some unexplained reason, has blonde hair. I actually always hated her character model. It's fucking creepy looking. Anyway, Grunty gets pissed off and hatches a plan to kidnap Tootie and steal her, her beauty. So now it's up to her brother Banjo and his friend Kazooie to infiltrate Gruntilda's lair and save her. So the first thing you do upon being able to control Banjo is explore Spiral Mountain, which serves as a tutorial in which your new friend Bottles the Mole teaches you your basic moveset, and it's actually a nice opening to the game. Yeah, okay, I know, I complained about the tutorial in the Bomberman Hero review, but this game does it in a way that I find the least offensive. Yeah, at the core it is a tutorial, but as you learn the special moves and basic mechanics of the game, you earn pieces towards your first health upgrade, so it still feels like progression is made, as opposed to just, you know, kind of force-feeding the player a shitload of mundane text. Although what I don't understand is that Tootie and Bottles were apparently already close friends, but yet Bottles is just now meeting Banjo and Kazooie for the first time? Whatever. Anyway, it's a nice start to the game, and it immediately shows off Banjo and Kazooie's personalities. One thing that pretty much turns my brain into complete shit is the incredible soundtrack composed by Grant Kirkhope. It's not often that a game's soundtrack creates the level of immersion that Banjo's did. And although none of you little bastards clicked on this video expecting a music lesson, it's happening anyway, so here it goes. All of the music for the game is written in the key of C major, and based off the intervals C major and F sharp major, which is known as the tritone, or the devil's interval. The F sharp is the exact middle point between 2 C notes. What Grant was trying to do was create a harmonistic representation of the contrasting character personalities of Banjo and Kazooie through music, while simultaneously giving the soundtrack a quirky feel. Everything about this soundtrack perfectly fits the different environments you encounter, and even changes in situations like being underwater or inside a cave, or even inside like a, I don't know, like a hermit crab or some shit. Now each stage has its own charm and they're all vastly different in aesthetics and mood. I don't find any of the levels to be even slightly dull or similar, which really keeps your attention throughout the game. Every stage is new and exciting and filled with shit to do. It really goes to show just how on top of the game Rareware was back then.
Those were the days, my friend, we thought they'd never...
fuck. Now, what pulls this game all together is what I like to think of as the best hub world of any 3D platformer I know.
Gruntilda's lair!
Each new section is separated by locked doors which can be opened by collecting the number of notes on the door. There are 100 notes which can be obtained in each level, but you don't need to collect them unless you're trying to get 100% completion. The entrance to each level is found somewhere within the vast hub world and is opened by completing puzzles with the jiggies you obtain in the game. Oh yeah, jiggies are like power stars and you get them for doing stuff. Gruntilda's lair brings a unique sense of cohesion to all the levels and really makes you feel like you're slowly climbing your way to the top, with the final battle against Grunty at the peak. Throughout the game, you feel Gruntilda's presence looming over you, taunting you every step of the way, and it really makes you that much more eager to shut her fat face up. Now, unlike most games at the time, Rare really tried to make sure everything in Banjo-Kazooie came to life. Now, I keep attempting to not continuously mention Mario, but fuck it, what I'm about to talk about is just another one of the reasons I feel this game is a more personal experience. In Mario 64, everything feels barren. You feel alone. Sure, you're working towards a goal trying to save the princess, but during the entire game, with the exception of a few Toad encounters, you're essentially on your own. There's no true dialogue or feeling, and because of that, I never really felt emotionally driven to complete the game. Don't get me wrong, it's an amazing game, but Banjo-Kazooie is full of personality and character. A big chunk of the game is completed by helping out distressed NPCs in the game. Rare really tried hard to make sure even the smallest of characters had their own personality, and even went as far as to give a voice to small things like collectible objects needed to obtain a Jiggy. Now that I think about it, there is one thing that I guess I should complain about, and that's the expansiveness of Gruntilda's lair itself. Not to say that the fact that it's big is inherently bad, but it can sometimes seem a bit convoluted. Over the years, I've grown to forget exactly what leads where, and I actually got pretty confused while recording the footage for this review. I guess this is just a personal preference, but I don't think I've actually ever asked anyone else about it. It's just something that bugged me even as a kid. It's not a huge deal, but sometimes I get a little lost when I'm trying to find a stage I've been to before. Also, the swimming mechanic is completely horrendous, and the controls are absolute horse shit, but does anyone out there actually enjoy swimming sections in a game? I know most of you who have already played this game are going to expect me to talk about Stop and Swap, but that dead horse has been beaten so far into the ground that I think it would be kind of pointless. Google it. The game is pretty long, but because of its captivating and addictive gameplay, I find that hours fly by without me even noticing. It's like the hyperbolic time chamber of video games. I won't spoil the ending, but they do leave you wanting more, and tease you with the not-so-subtle hints of a second game, which did actually come out, unlike the bullshit they pulled in the second game's ending, where Rare wrote a check that 14 years later still has yet to be cashed. This game really is a masterpiece, though, and it's a shame that big developers don't still make games like these nowadays.
Although one daring team of individuals have recently decided to break down that big wall devs have built up unnecessarily all these years. This is Gaijin Goomba, signing out.